Welcome to part 2, people. Okay, straight away let me hit Control Enter on the keyboard and refresh your memory exactly what we had made. So here's a Control Enter to export the SWIFT and test the movie. Yep, so we have the background music, the picture labels out here rather, and it's giving you an indication of how many pictures are there and which picture is currently in the view. Let me pause it. Okay, I made certain modifications to the script vis-a-vis part number 1. When you hit the mute button, you can see that diagonal red line, okay, which hides and unhides itself. It's a toggle. See, if I click it again, it'll hide itself. It's nothing but a movie clip, people, and just presents itself on top of the mute button, which is actually the white vertical bars. Cool. The other changes that I made is I've actually altered the XML file in a manner now. As we can see, this gallery is actually time controlled, so the XML file is now allowing us to enter the value for the timer, which means if I would want the timer to proceed at, let's say, 4 seconds or 3 seconds or 2 seconds or whatever, I can actually do so through the XML file. So the XML file is holding all the information about the images, okay, the path to the image folder, the title, the description that you see here, it says blueberry, etc, etc. And as I said, let me in fact show you the XML file. So this is the XML file, people. This is talking about the current XML version. Then we have the opening slideshow tag, the closing slideshow tag. Then sandwiched in between we have 3 tags: the photo list tag, opening closing, the audio tag, opening closing, and the timer tag, opening closing. Right? So as I said, all the information about the images here, the XML file tells us that all the images are stored inside the images folder, and they've been named 1.jpg, 2.jpg, 3.jpg, etc, etc. And these are the corresponding titles for the images: barbecue chicken, bread and rolls, fresh strawberry, green apples, cake and pastries, blueberry, etc, etc. Yep. So this line number 14 has been an addition to the to part number 1. I've just appended it with one more tag. Now this value can be changed by the user and will be gobbled up by the ActionScript, and accordingly the speed of the slideshow can be made slower or faster. Correct? Right. So that's these are the changes that I've made. Let me close it up. Okay, now let me hide and unhide each and every layer, so you'll get a much better idea what description is. Let me unhide this. Okay, in fact there is nothing on the description layer. We'll come back to that. This second layer is the ActionScript 3 layer. Yep. See, when I click the mute button, you can actually see this diagonal red line. Okay, let me hide it again. If I click the mute button layer, you can see this is the mute button. Okay, let me why don't I see the text labels? Okay, the text labels are actually, let me show it to you. This is the text label, people, and this one. All right, so basically they have been set in the color white, but they will show up only if and only if the you see, when the slideshow advances or runs. Right? I'll tell you why I couldn't see the mask for the mute button. Okay, this is the mask, but as you can see, I've turned the alpha 0. If I increase the alpha, you'll be able to see it. Okay, this description layer has actually come in error. I can delete it. I don't need it. Shouldn't make a difference. Let me hit Control Enter to be absolutely sure it shouldn't make a difference. Yep. Right. So obviously there's nothing to be shown on the AS3 layer. This is the mask. As I said, it's you see the alpha has been set to a 0. It's actually masking the button. It's not a true mask. It's not truly the mask that we have in our Flash and ActionScript 3. It's just a cover, an envelope just placed above the button so that a person who clicks get a uniform clickable area. That's the only reason. It's just been put over the it's like a lid over the actual mute button, and the actual mute button is this, people. This one. See this, you know, this white drawing, the vertical bars. And you may be wondering, why is you know, those vertical bars actually dancing up and down? The reason for that is let me go to the library, and then see, this is the bars movie clip. If I say edit, and if I scrub the timeline, people, what I've done is, this is frame number 1, this is frame number 13, and between the two frames what I've done is I've actually used the shape tween. Okay, so on the 13th frame what I did was I randomly changed the height of the bars and then applied the motion tween. That's why you see them jumping. It's actually a movie clip. Okay. And then so that the the bars jump wildly, what I did was I increased the frame rate to 100 FPS instead of the default 24. Right, let me go back to the main timeline. Okay, so now that you've actually understood what exactly is there on the stage, all right, I have shown you the different layers. It's time. The time is right for me to jump inside the actions panel and explain the action script to you, the most difficult part. Okay, but actually the way I've designed the script, I've made it so I've divided it into sections. I've put a lot of I punctuated it with a lot of comments. You shouldn't find it difficult. Okay, right, see, these import directives will get auto generated while you're writing the code, except line number 8. All right, except line number 8. This line you'll need to write manually, but all the other lines, just in case, make sure that all these classes get imported out here. These import directives show up. If they don't, please do so manually, guys. Okay, now in the second section, I clearly told you what I'm about to do: declare variables. So I've declared a variable XML data of the type XML. I have not given it a value. In line number 15, what I've done is I've declared yet another variable XML loader of the type URL loader is equal to a new URL loader. Again, I have not given it any value. URL loader class is used to load an external asset in terms of let's say an XML file, a binary data, right? We have yet another variable picture loader, pic loader, of the type loader. Now loader class and URL loader class are different in the sense that URL loader is, let's say, used to pick up, pull the binary data, which is the, let's say, the XML file, but the picture loader is going to pull up only Swift movies and pictures like PNG and JPG images. So they have a difference. Both are actually used to pull up external assets inside Flash interface. So let's see, out here we have yet another load variable pick array. Now people, this tutorial needs you to have a good understanding of how the arrays work. If you don't know how the arrays work, I'm going to leave a link in the right bottom corner which you can actually click, and it'll take you to one of my tutorials which explains what exactly arrays are, how they actually work. You need to know what arrays are. But if I were to tell you in a nutshell, basically arrays are like variables. The only difference is when you combine many variables together, when you push many values together inside a container, it's like a mega variable, it's like a major variable which has many values, multiple values instead of one single value. If I declare a variable, say my number of the type number is equal to 10, I'm just pushing in one value, which is 10. But if I push in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, then that can't be done in a variable. That has to be done inside a array. So array is a collection of variable values. right? So that's what it is in a nutshell. Another variable, title array. Now what was the need for me to declare these two arrays, pick array and title array? The need was in the pick array I'm going to pull up information about the pictures and push it inside the pick array. The titles for the relevant pictures, I'm going to pull it from the XML file, I'm going to push it inside the title array. So up front what we do is we process the XML data, we pull the information regarding the pictures and the titles of those pictures, and we push them inside the array, and later on then we can proceed with the slideshow, right? In line number 19, what I've done is I've declared yet another variable, number of pictures. Now this number of pictures basically nothing but the total number of pictures used in the slideshow or lying outside in the external folder, the images folder, of the type integer, right? You can't have half a picture, so it's an integer, a whole number. And line number 20 is talking about the current picture that's showing up. Initially it's been set to a 0. We'll soon see what is the relevance of this variable. Another variable, my musicClip, is the data type is a string. Again, later on we'll see where do we actually use it. And lastly, we have another variable called delay, and this is the number. This is going to pull up and store the delay value that was there inside the XML file. See, this value is going to be picked up by it, 4000, and we are going to use it inside a timer, right? So till line number 22, all we have done is we have just declared variables which we are about to use. Now, since I have all the variables ready, I'm about to process the XML data. So what I do is I use the load method to load a new URL request inside the XML loader. As I said, XML loader is gonna gobble up all the information from the XML file. So using the load method and requesting for this URL, which is slideshow.xml, using the new URL request class, I load it inside the loader, and then what I do is I add event listener to the XML loader of the type complete. So which means that once the loading is complete, please process XML, the function process XML. Let's see what the function process XML exactly is. It is what we do is we make XML data a variable that we had declared earlier in line number 14. We make it equal to new XML event.target.data. The event is a complete event. The target is nothing but the XML loader, and the data is basically the data lying inside the XML file. So if I were to trace the XML data, let me show it to you. What do we get? See, control enter. You see out here, you get here in the output panel, you can actually see all that is there inside the XML file is shown up out here. Cool. So which means that now this has become a very important variable because it is containing all the information about the XML file, right? Let me comment it back. Okay. Now in line number 33, what I've done is I have made number of number of pictures which I declared a little earlier out here, equal to the XML data dot photo list dot photo dot length. You see, this is the path, which means go inside the XML data, which is nothing but the XML file, people. You see, here is the XML file. So I'm saying go inside the XML file, inside photo list, go inside photo, right? And then pick up the total the length of the photos. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to count how many pictures are there. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it's going to output a value 6. See, so it's going inside photo list, going inside photos, and counting the total number of photos. The length is this property is going to pull up how many photos are actually there. How many children items are there for this tag? 6, right? And the delay, what we have done is we made it equal to XML data.timer.text. So what's going to do is this is the XML data dot timer and the text of it. This is the text of it. So it's going to pull up this value. So this is how you can use the text property, parent semicolon. Okay. In the next step, people, let's see what we have done. Up front, what I'm doing is, see, this next section is all about loading external sound clip and creating a mute toggle button. Mute sign dot visible is equal to false. Mute sign is nothing but that diagonal red line that that comes across the white bars, which is nothing but the mute button. I am setting the visibility of it equal to false. Okay. Next, what I do is mask. Mask is nothing but the button that is lying over the mask is that rectangular area, the alpha which I had actually reduced. The button mode I've set it to true. I want it to act like a button. It's actually musicClip. Then what I'm doing is, this was a variable my musicClip that I declared earlier, very early in the actions panel. I'm making it equal to XML data, which is the XML file basically, dot audio, this is the path, dot musicClip @path. I'll tell you what it actually means. Let me pull up, show the XML file. So it says go inside photo list. No, sorry, it says go out here inside the musicClip, and then pull up this musicClip. Inside the musicClip, opening tag, and pull up this soothing music.mp3. See, I'll show you I'll show it to you again. Clearly says in the XML, go inside the audio tag, go inside musicClip tag, and then read the path. See. So this is the XML data. Go inside the audio tag, go inside the musicClip, and then this is the path. @path means go out here. Use this file inside the audio folder, soothing music.mp3. Let me show you the assets. This is the audio file. It contains soothing music.mp3, and this is the images folder containing all these 6 JPEG images, 1.jpg, 2.jpg, etc., etc. Right. So basically, this variable is now going to hold the musicClip. I've instantiated yet another variable, my sound, and I made it equal to a new sound, which means that I'm creating a new instance of the sound class. Then I'm going to load through the new URL request class my musicClip, which is basically holding the soothing music.mp3. And then once you load it inside my sound, you can play it. And I'm playing it from the 0th position, basically from the very starting, from the very beginning. 9999 times, so which is almost endless. So practically, so it's gonna go on and on and on. So an endless loop, people. Not literally, but yeah, practically, it's a big value, right? Here I'm gonna use the sound mute functionality, on and off functionality, toggle functionality. Let's see how this was done. Sorry. What I've done is I've created a variable volume wall, and of the type sound transform is equal to a new sound transform, and then I've given it a value of 1. Now people, I don't know how many of you actually understand the sound class well. If you don't, I have around 8 to 10 or maybe 12 tutorials only on the sound class. Type my name, type sound, and they'll all show up. Please go through the sound class. As I said, this is not a very basic tutorial. You need to understand how the arrays work. You need to understand how these sound class work, and then only will it make some sense to you. Otherwise, it will not. So what I've done is I've added an event listener to the mask. Mask is that rectangular area which is over the button. I've added an event listener to that. Let me show you what mask is. See, let's go to the timeline. This is the mask for the mute button. This is the mask, people. The alpha of which I had zeroed in. You see, and it's lying just over the mute button. This is the mute button. See? Right. So this is how we get the a regular uniform clickable area. I've added an event listener to that. The type will be a click, a mouse click. I want a function toggle sound to fire, which is basically going to mute and unmute. So let's see what it actually does. It checks, is the volume of this variable wall through the volume property equal to 1? If it is, make it 0, else make it 1. This is gonna cause the if the volume is 0, make it 1. If it's 1, make it 0. You know, volume always is between 1 and 0, right? Also, I'm checking if the volume of this variable wall is 1, mute button should play, which basically means the musicClip mute button, which is those vertical white bars, should play, basically jump around. If not, it should stop them. It should not jump around, it should not jump up and down. The vertical bars should just stay put, cement themselves. It should not have any activity. You can use the play and the stop methods, people, to stop and play a musicClip. Most of you, I'm sure, are aware of it, right? Next, what I do is mute sign dot visible. Mute sign is nothing but the diagonal red line that goes across the mute button, which is those vertical white bars. I'll check if it is visible. If it is, I make it invisible. Otherwise, I make it visible. So that again, the toggle functionality of that visibility and going invisible, vanishing, right? And then what I do is, depending on what the variable of wall, the value of this variable wall is of the type sound transform. Now, sound transform class is used to manipulate the sound through the sound mixer class now, and the sound transform property. Not only sound transform class is also a property. So we apply the sound transform property on the sound mixer class. Sound mixer class has global control over all sounds, people. As I said, again, I may be talking too much of technical jargon. Then you need to know the sound class well, and then I make it equal to wall. Now wall could be either 0 or 1, and that will give you that toggle functionality. Cool. Okay, next what I do is I run a function load arrays. Let's see what it actually does. What load arrays does is it runs a loop. Now again, not a basic tutorial, people. You have to know how the for loop, the different kind of loops actually works. I've used the for loop. This for loop is going to load information from the XML file inside the array. So it says, this is the function load arrays. It says for variable I of the type integer equal to 0, as long as I is less than total number of pictures. We increment I out here. So basically, for all 6 pictures or 5 pictures or 4 pictures, we push values inside the pick array. And what is that value? That value is nothing. You go inside the XML data, then fetch photo list, then go to photos, and this I is gonna change every time. So it's actually pulling up the path for all the pictures. It's going inside the XML file, photo list tag, photo tag. This size is gonna change. The first photo, the second photo, the third photo, etc., etc. Then it's gonna fetch the path attribute. I'll tell you what the path attribute is. See, this is the path attribute. Basically, the path attribute will talk about which image and where it's lying. It's lying in the images folder 1.jpg. So when I beg your pardon, when I is 1, it could be I will be 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. So it's going to pull up the information for all the photographs. Okay, a similar functionality is performed by the title array. I'm pushing values inside it. This is the push method but as I said, you need to understand the array. Array is better. Or if you don't know it completely, then you have to get to know arrays first. So XML data, photo list, this is the path, then photos. I will be 0, 1, 2, 3, etc., etc., and then pull the titles and push it inside a title array. As I said, title array will be holding a lot of values, or the information of the titles of the pictures. Pick array will be holding the path to all the pictures. Cool. Next, we perform a function called load images. Let's see what load images is. I'm declaring a variable my URL request of the type URL request and requesting for pick array current pick. Now current pick was 0. So what is happening out here is we are using the URL request class to go inside the pick array and 0, which is the first picture basically at the index number 0. And then I'm using the load method to load it inside the pick loader. Pick loader is, you see this out here. Pick loader is basically using the loader class. Okay, so loading the new URL request out here. So what we do is we load the first picture out here, which was inside the array pick array. And then out here in line number 83, what we have done is we've added an event listener to the pick loader, but you cannot add it directly. You have to add it through the content loader info property of the loader class. That's a requirement, people. And then the event is of the type complete. So when the picture is completely loaded inside the pick loader, I would want a function called complete handler to run. Let's see what the function complete handler is. Okay, here is the function complete handler. It will use the add child at method and add the image at index number 0. So I'm using the add child at method, not the add child method. Add child will, with the add child method, the index could be anything, but when you use the add child at method, you can specify the index number. So basically the bottommost layer. I also make sure that the pick loader X and Y are 6 and 4.5 respectively. That will ensure that it will center it up. Basically I know how tall and wide my stage is. I know how tall and wide my pictures are. So these values have already been worked up by me. So it will center the pictures up. All pictures are of the same size, the uniform size. And then I'm creating a variable myLoader tween1 of the type tween equal to a new tween, and I'm increasing the alpha from a 0 to a 1 over 2 seconds. Again, you need to understand the tween class. My tutorials may not be, this tutorial may not be appreciated simply for the fact that it's complex for many of you people. It has a lot, it talks about arrays, talks about the tween class, talks about XML data, so talks about the sound class. So unless and until somebody is actually thorough, and understands these classes well, this tutorial will not make sense to them, right? And then what I've done is title is actually a text field. Through the text property, I'm adding from the title array one value. That you see this current picture or current pick variable changes every time, sometimes 0, 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. And then so this will display the labels for the picture, the description or the caption for the pictures. It'll say green apple, sometimes it'll say barbecue chicken, etc., etc. And then counter is nothing but yet another text field lying on the stage. Through the text property, I'm making it equal to picture. It'll say picture 1 of 1, picture 2 of 1, picture 2 of 6, picture 3 of 6, picture 4 of 6, etc., etc. It will display the current picture and it will display the total number of pictures, right? And in the end, people, we have the timer, and the timer fires according to the delay. Delay is but 4000, set accordingly in accordance with whatever value we had used out here in the XML file. Okay, right. So as I said, you can go to the XML file, you can change that 4000 to a 3000 or 5000 or whatever. Every time you declare a timer, you need to start it. Then I've added an event listener to the timer. Every time the timer fires, it executes a function called change image, and let's see what the function change image is. It checks if the current picture is less than total number of pictures minus 1. Execute a function, please increment the current picture by 1, and run the function load images, else make current picture variable equal to 0, and again run the function load images. Let's see where the function load images is. This is where it is. So it will request a new URL depending on the value of the current picture. Current picture, if you see, I'm incrementing out here. Either I'm incrementing out here, or either I'm making it equal to 0. This will cause the loop people go from the first to the second, second to the third, third to fourth, fourth to fifth, fifth, sixth, back to the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So this is not only responsible for the timer, also responsible for the loop from the first to the sixth, sixth back to the first. Now that 6 could be 7th, 8th, 9th or 10th, or could be 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever, depending on how many pictures you're actually using. So this is the loop people inside the timer, the picture loop actually. Sorry. So right, you see, as I said, this will loop through the pictures, and now this the the closing curly brace, and that marks the completion of the process of XML function, end of process XML function, right? So I understand it's pretty lengthy. I understand that use some classes that you might not be completely aware of. As I said, you need to understand the arrays well, you need to understand the sound class well. Okay, I'm sure most of you guys understand the timer class, right? Most of you also might understand the loader class, but the URL loader class may be something new to you. Okay, most of you also might understand the tween class. I'm not so sure, and I don't know how many of you actually understand the arrays and the sound class well. So it took me around 7 hours, 6 to 7 hours to work up the logic and write the script. Wasn't very simple. So if you think that it doesn't make too much of a sense, if you think everything is still blurry and hazy, and you still can't put it all together, what you can do is you can just go to my website http://qualitylessons.net/downloads and get the file absolutely free. Get the XML file too. Make the changes in the XML file depending on what the data is inside your images and the audio folder, and it will work to a nicety. So people, I'm sorry if I didn't make much of a sense. I tried to explain as much as I could. It's already run into 33 minutes, this tutorial, the second part that is. So what I'll do is, I hope actually cleared up some of your doubts. So I'll just hit Control Enter to show you the end product, and we'll need to terminate the tutorial after that. So here goes Control Enter. First picture, second one, here comes the third one, and we'll go on and on and on. Mute, unmute, title changing out here, and as I said, it's advancing according to 4000 milliseconds, which could be 3000, 2000 or 1000 or whatever, right? So people, I hope to see you with yet another Flash and ActionScript 3 tutorial / Dreamweaver tutorial. You have a very good day, guys. Bye bye. Peace.